else is to admire the person and the player. And I think Declan has got both of them, and that's very difficult, and especially in this society to achieve, because there is a lot of opinions and there is a lot of rivalry between other clubs, but it's like Bukayo.
I think it's obviously a trend at the moment, really in vogue this season, but you came up against it when you played Brentford, I think back in 2020, when they beat 2-0. It was obviously a difficult game, but that long throw back then, I mean, you must be well aware about, all the way back from that game, what do you remember of that match and what you learned off the back of it?
The preparation of that match, it was an absolute nightmare, because it was the first game of the season, and for 12, 13 days, I think we lost 7 or 9 players with COVID, and we were already struggling with it. So, but now I look back and I said, we learn a lot, we suffer a lot, and that makes you better, hopefully. And I think we became better.
Okay, last couple for Gary.
Because this time last year, we were talking about the multi-club model, and you were saying that you'd like the club to explore it. Is that still your view, and where are we with that?
I don't know exactly where we are. Exploring, I think it's always good to see if we can take any advantage, and it can be something that can optimize our operation and what we're going to become in the future. But that's up to the club to decide whether it is the right thing or not.
But the club is sort of signing young players, and sort of other clubs like Chelsea are signing young players like Estela who've gone somewhere. You can park them, and they can. And you've also got younger English players who you can park somewhere. Is there not an advantage to have that type of thing where you can park players and develop them how you want to develop them in your system?
Yes, in that sense, yes, and with the regulation that we have actually in the Premier League as well. But okay, at the moment we don't have that resource. We have many others, not that one. So let's see if in the future is something that we can have.
Okay, finally to Ed.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
Ruben Amorim said after the game against Palace the other day that they've been stealing a few set-piece techniques from other teams, and that they're now matching you at the top of the table in terms of goals scored. Is that, I take it that's not something that you guys do, you always come up with your own original ideas, and are you having to change these ideas because a lot of the teams are working out what you're starting to do?
I think it's doing that, or it's not about copying and pasting, because at the end it's your individuals have to be able to do that. But I imagine every manager tries to learn from other teams, other tactics, and do that, whether we tell it openly or not about set pieces, or about your high press, or about your restarts, or about the final third, or certain unit combination that you had, or the way you manage the game, or whatever. I'm sure we all do it.
Do you think you should take it as a compliment then that some teams are starting to do the similar, the goal you conceded against Chelsea, similar sort of moves to what you've been doing, and a lot of teams are delivering corners like that?
Yeah, you see certain patterns, and in other teams, whether it's set pieces and in many other phases of play, that is this sounds familiar. But I mean, recognizing it, yes or no, I picked this from that, or this defending throw, this positioning that I really like, instead of doing it with that player from a different team. I mean, that's part of the evolution of any manager, every team, I think.
And you're coming up against Keith Andrews, who was a set-piece coach, now as the manager. Are you expecting something special from them?
Well, I think what he's doing is special. I think what he's managed to in that very short period of time, after obviously the legacy that Frank left at that football club, I think it's remarkable what he's done.
What do you make of Coyote's long throw?
A massive weapon. That's it. Yeah. We all know that. Yeah.
It seems like it might be the best sort of long throw since Rory Delat, that you must have played against.
Unfortunately, yes. And we suffered that in with wind as well, which he made that throw and the profile of the players. But certainly have that weapon like Stoke had, or other teams are trying to build as well, because obviously the difficulty, because of the organization of the teams, to score goals and to produce big chances. It is decreasing, and they have that opportunity every time the ball goes out of play.
when you're in the box and that's coming in, what's it like? Because obviously the trajectory is very different to a free kick or a corner, and it seems to create a lot of chaos. What's it like being in there? What do you tell the players how to deal with it?
Normally I was more outside the box because of my size, so I was lucky that I didn't have to compete for the first ball. But that's the word probably. It is a very chaotic situation, and that it's very difficult to predict what's going to happen.
And I mean this with absolute respect to Declan Rice, who we all admire very much. He's done a few long throws this season.
Mm-hmm.
He's not quite as good as Coyote has.
Who is, you know? I don't know. I don't know. Everything has to evolve. I don't know how good he was a year ago, or 2 years ago, or 3 years ago. I know how good Declan was taking set pieces 3 years ago and 4 years ago, and I know how good he is now. So it doesn't happen overnight. Things have to be trained, evolved, and tweaked, and the player has to believe as well, which is key.
So he could become your...
He can become anything that he wants. When you look at him, Declan can do almost everything that you're required to do.
Okay, let's see him develop as a thrower.
Okay.
Tom?
Hi Mikel, for those of us who aren't here every week, can you just explain what you mean by a lighthouse?
Sorry?
Can you explain what you mean by a lighthouse? What does that mean?
Like someone that brings a focal point, clarity and direction to everybody, you know. So would you just look at him and you know where you have to head. And I think it's he's got that presence, he's got that aura, and he's got that character to be that person and have that role in the team.
You talk about his aura and his character. He's obviously clearly someone who's very likeable, that connects with fans, hence why he won this award. Is that important to you, to have players who really have that kind of relatability to supporters? Because he seems to be, not just with Arsenal, but with England as well, is the kind of player that people really seem to like and really seem to relate to.
Yeah, because something I think is to respect a player, and something else is to admire the person and the player. And I think Declan has got both of them, and that's very difficult, and especially in this society to achieve, because there is a lot of opinions and there is a lot of rivalry between other clubs, but it's like Bukayo. I mean, in general, to have that feeling towards a player, even if you are not that supporter, to be able to get people to feel that way about you, I think it's a big thing.